For this week's video, I was able to film a time lapse of me putting a front axle back into John Deere 624k. So it's time lapse, did a voiceover, so it's kind of a different style video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Talk about some tools, talk about what I did and all that stuff. It's time lapse, it's a little different. So I hope you guys enjoy that. If you guys could like, comment, subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. There's also a PayPal link down below. If anybody would like to donate to the channel, that'd be much appreciated. So hope you guys enjoy this video. So got the axle here rigged up. Here's the welder coming over here to give me a hand, get this in. So I realized that my truck wasn't as far back as it was when I pulled this axle out. So I was kind of right at the end of the crane limit. So it was a little challenging. I should have backed up, but I didn't realize it till I was already hoisting the axle up. So I was like, well, I'll just go for it. I mean, it was fine. It's not like it was past or anything unsafe, but just it would have gave us a little bit more room. I had to use the lineup bar there just to twist the axle on the right side. Couldn't get it out. So the left side of the machine with the right side of the screen. It's just hella thing in the welder there for giving me a hand. Some earplugs in. Got the old snap-on 3/4 gun out. I like those the best, honestly. They're kind of expensive, but works good. So it's 30mm wrench, and then there's 6 bolts on each side. 30mm socket, 30mm wrench. 6 bolts on each side. Taking the chains off there. So that is an actual fabricated tool from John Deere for lifting these axles. Cat has them too. They're called like fabricated tools, just stuff you make and then you use. So that's what that was. Now I'm just hooking up. Realized that I needed my light. Got my light there, just hooking up the driveline and the brakes and the hydraulics and all that stuff. Just hooking all that up. I realized that I had the wrong wrench for the front yoke grease line, so I had to go back to the truck and get that. Nice thing, front axles are kind of easy because you can lift up the boom and you can get underneath there and you can work. Rear axles, you got to kind of lay on your back and do it around the engine and all that. So it can be a little difficult, but got that. So then right here, whoops, it's a touchscreen, I forgot. So 624k 4-wheel drive loader, front axle, 22 liters, 5.8 gallons. So it holds high guard or track guard or whatever. So you can fill it. You can't really see it right there. There's a fill plug in the top. It's like a vent plug. You can see it right there. You could fill it that way, but it's a pain in the butt. So I fill it through the axles. So you fill it, but it has to leak past the bearings. So it takes a while. So, but it's way easier to do it that way. So then that side, that's the brake side right there. And that is the diff lock line coming in. That's the grease line for the front yoke. You can see that down there. There's a vent line that runs up there. You probably can't see that, but that's for the it vents the pressure. So I did break this connector when I was moving the axle, so I got to fix that. But it was just a 2-pin amp seal. It wasn't that big of a deal. And then there's the other end of it. It was kind of, I tied it up to get it out of the way. That little bracket goes underneath the belly pan to protect that sensor. It's just a temp sensor. So here we go. Back on here again to hang these tires. So I needed to use a strap, but I didn't quite have the right kind of strap. So I got 2 of them hooked together there. My truck wouldn't start there. Sometimes there's a power button on that remote that I can shut the truck off so it doesn't have to idle. But sometimes it loses fuel prime when I do that, so I had to get that fixed. But again, I was kind of right at the end of my crane limit there, so I couldn't get the tire exactly where I wanted it. It just took a little bit longer. I couldn't boom in, and plus the roof of the shop was there, so I couldn't go up. If I was in the field, I probably would have had plenty of room, but since I'm in the shop, there was like a gas line and I didn't want to hit. So these are also 30mm, and there's 12, I think. That's probably wrong, but off the top hand, I think there's 12 bolts that go in there. So Cats use studs, but John Deere's use bolts. And then back to the other side. And again, you can see right about here that I'm kind of dragging the tire because I was just right at the end of that crane limit and I didn't want to move the truck. But I got it. It wasn't unsafe or nothing. It was just trying to move that around, just getting it. This one was a little bit easier to line up because it was a little bit closer. So got that all going on there. Back to the old 3/4 snap-on. That's one of my favorite guns. Look at them on eBay, and they're not that expensive to rebuild. So get those. Just putting the crane away there. I always put it away. Mine always has to come off the passenger side. So now I'm using this Harbor Freight 20-ton air over hydraulic jack. Man, that thing's great for the price. I use it on all kinds of stuff. I've used it to lift up excavators. obviously use it on his wheeler. So then right there I realized that it wouldn't go down, which I'm not sure why, because when I lifted this machine I used those same 2 blocks in that same jack, but I couldn't get it out, so I had to reposition the jack stands and raise it up with just one. Well, they're bringing me water there. One block. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's a spot in the floor or something, floor sweep. So then just checking the oil. I did fill it with oil. I didn't get that on camera, but checking it. So then when you use these, you set them flush like that. You don't screw them in. That's how you check the exact amount of oil like that. Some people aren't sure about that. But so then it's kind of blurry, but there's a spot right about there. Hold on, I moved it around a little bit. Rechecked it. So you can see it's a little high, but it still had a leak past. So I did check it at the end when I was done, and it was right at the right spot. I just didn't get that on camera either. So then that's just a plug. I gotta put that plug in, put the belly or the cover on there. Gotta clean up all these tools so I can move my truck out of the way. But I did decide to leave that cover off right now because I'm gonna test it. I want to make sure I didn't have any leaks or anything underneath there. So I did leave that off. I gotta suck out that waste oil, but the fuel guys came back at the end of the day and I borrowed their truck and sucked it out just because that's a lot of oil to move to the waste oil jug. So I just left it like that, and they helped me at the end of the day. Clean up all these tools here, and we'll be getting this tested. So I got that tray. You can see that tray there. I've done a video on that. I'll link that. That's a cool, perfect little tray to have. Just cleaning up here, putting my tools away. Thought it was kind of an interesting shot here just to have it sit. So that is a 12-point socket I showed there. Little driveline socket set's pretty cool. So it's 3/8, half-inch 12-point, and then it's 12 and 13 millimeter 12-point half-inch drive. They're like long, the driveline sockets. It's a Matco set. I've done a video on it. I'll link the Matco part number down below for that if you want to know about that. Snap-on makes them, Mac makes them. They all pretty much make them, but they're really, really handy. It's one of the only 12-point sockets I have. Right there, you see there's a white Ford backs in top corner. So that's our parts guy, our purchasing guy. He brought me some parts for an excavator that I got to work on and parts for a Peterbilt that I was working on. So if you guys are ever in need of Peterbilt parts, don't ever go to Peterbilt in Fort Worth because they are terrible. I was there for 4 hours. They still got me the wrong parts 3 times. So the guy was new and I waited forever. So if you gotta go, just go to Irving. It's way closer. Or it's not closer, but it's way better and it's not that far away. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Just kind of a different little setup. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions or anything like that. Thank you for watching.